Okay, so
What's happening today?
yes. So I will try from this side because it's not working over there, I'm guessing. So very excited to be here the second time and the third presentation this year. Once again, as I'm excited, I will maybe forget some words, but we will work with this. So my presentation is going to be about how to enhance your workflow using an AI. And just to give, yeah, let's jump over this one. So I'm Eliav Ran, and I'm married to Uliana. I'm 33 years old, soon to be 34. Father to Lennon here is already coding. You can see him here. He's saying, "Nu, nu, nu." And my dog, everyone knows Pixie, and my two cats that are less famous than all the others. Yeah. And Uliana here. Okay. Up. Okay, so as Chris mentioned, we already use AI, but I would like to see this graph going much more to the other side. Like, I want you to be plugged into the neural network, and I will try to help you to achieve this, and I will try to encourage you with some methodology and practices to use AI and to get the best from it. Okay, so let's start with a warning. Okay, ChatGPT is not Optimove proprietary development, and as you can see, no,
Yes.
not yet. Yeah, so try not to use it and to give it too much information, okay? And you can see Samsung worker accidentally leaked trade secrets, and we don't want to be like Apple that already start to forbid engineers of using AI. So please try to keep everything that you are doing. Data sensitive awareness, what you're putting inside, what tables, what information, what data you're using in, exposure, like sensitive proprietary information, and overall avoid using any real naming tables, nuggets, anything that you can think about, because ChatGPT see and trained on everything. And like, if we can see here, there are bugs that leaked user conversations, and so we don't want that to happen. And now that we got over the bad stuff, let's start to talk about LLM. So what is LLM? So I'm guessing that like a year after we're using AI, we know that the large language model is a type of artificial intelligence that are using databases designed to understand, generate, and to be general AI. Okay, so we're going into this direction. Don't catch me on the exact phrasing, but this is the way we're going. The idea is that we want the AI to understand and to know everything and to help us with everything. I know it's a bit scary, but that's the way that ChatGPT and other LLMs are going to trying to get into. LLM is LLM is a trend on big databases over the whole internet. You can say, if you think why Elon Musk bought Twitter, okay, so why Reddit is closing their API. So that's because the LLM is using it, and well, Musk wants this information to conspiracy a bit. The idea is that we are trying to do a pattern recognition, use statistical methods. The idea is that we ask the AI some question, and using statistical information is trying to guess the next word. And that's why I think that everyone heard it. That way he's guessing what to answer. It looks like magic, but that's the way it's working. Just to give you an idea, okay, so this was GPT-3, like this dot, and this is GPT-4, and we are going into GPT-5. I didn't find a way to show it because it's not in the internet. They didn't said what is the size of GPT-5, but part of the things that I'm going to talk about in the conversation are going to be in GPT-5, already built in. parameters. And so the number that you see downstairs is the parameters that are used in the GPT, and it's the way to tweak and to work with the LLM. Okay, the whole presentation will be available later if you want to go deeper into what I'm saying, but the number of parameters indicates the model size and the complexity. So just see the comparison between them. ChatGPT, which is the most famous because it was the first one and is the most used, is not the only one that exists, and each one has its own specialty. GPT-4 is the most famous. We have BART, so it's a bidirectional training in AI. It's not only going forward in the prediction, it's also going back. So it knows how to understand the context. T5 is versatile model, which is using text-to-text framework. It's a little bit, is taking images and things, put it into text, and then try to understand things. And XLNet is the enhanced language understanding permutation-based approach. Tell you the truth, just want to show you that there are other things. It's not only ChatGPT. So just going fast about what we are going to talk about in this conversation. So we are going about basic topics, and then we will have advanced topics and Copilot. And inside, we will talk about what is prompt type, general tips, effective prompting, refinement, how to use refinement, and then some advanced topics that we will talk about it later. So what is a prompt? Let's start with the prompt. If you all remember, or using command line, so when you see the cursor in the command line waiting for you to enter the text, that's a prompt. And what we are giving the AI is the other way around. We are prompting the AI, and he's answering for us. So for AI, it's designed to get a specific response or action. So the basic of prompting, we can achieve a lot with prompting. It's very easy to use GPT. The whole idea is to be stupid friendly, but we can get a lot more once we are using GPT in the right ways. So let's go inside. Let's dive into it. Prompt types. We can have 4 main prompt types, which will be informational. We want to know something. Instructional. We are asking or telling GPT to do something. We can have a conversational prompt, which is engaging a dialogue with the AI. And creative, which is, let's talk about original content generation. Okay, so something that AI is not good in is to write things in pictures. So this one was pretty good. So general tips, let's start simple. Sometimes the simple prompt is what is doing the job, and it will be enough for us. We don't need to go directly into a very complex prompt like we are going to talk about. We can just start simple. And after that, we can iteratively to see if we need something, we can advance and to refine the prompt that we are using. Okay, so that's a good example. I just asked everything that I put here is something that I used yesterday. So it's still applying to ChatGPT 3.5 because 4 is better. So think on conference presentation for next year if you want, and immediately you can see future trends in technology and things like that. Very simple prompt give us an answer that maybe is not very good for us, but maybe it's enough. Stay clear. It's very important for when we give a prompt to stay clear with ChatGPT. In the end, GPT is or any LLM is trying to figure out from our prompt what we want. If we start to say, give a brief overview of prompt engineering, it's not so clear, like in 2 sentences, explain prompt engineering for beginners. And you can see when I asked him give a brief overview, it started to give me a long answer once I wanted just 3 sentences just to understand the concept of Google Bigtable. Okay, so very simple, just to be clear what I want. I want to understand Bigtable in 2 sentences. Instruction. Maybe ChatGPT sometimes comes to us like we are human, he is human, and we are trying to talk with a person. Good morning, how are you? It's not effective for him when you are telling him all of those things and going around the bush, okay? So avoid using give, maybe, think, try, things like that. It's not good for the prompt. It's very polite, but for the prompt, not good. Use direct instruct to the model with commands like generate, classify, summarize, refactor. Okay, be very direct on what you want to do and use instructions, not, don't be too polite. Okay. Here I have an example that says, I was wondering if you could possibly give some ideas for our next marketing campaign. No. Provide free creative ideas for the next marketing campaign, and directly I have a good, what?
When typing prompt, I always use please.
Please, don't use please. It's not good for him. No.
But
when they start, when Synex or whatever comes to us, we'll kill everyone. Don't worry. Don't remember. Doesn't have remember. It doesn't save everything that you are saying. Stay positive. It's very important in life and in prompting to stay positive. Don't say to the ChatGPT, don't use negative information. It doesn't understand it. It's not working for him because it doesn't understand the context of negative and the next sentence that you're going to say. So here I have an example. Explain the agile methodology. Don't use technical terms. He will not understand the don't. He will go to the use technical terms immediately. Better things to be explain agile methodology. Yeah, thank you. In simple language suitable for beginners. Okay, that's very good substitution between the don't and what to do. Okay, stay positive. Okay, don't tell him what not to do. Not even for humans, it's very hard to understand. Reusing prompts with placeholder. I don't know if you're already using it, but it's very easy to create a generic prompt and to give it in brackets, in placeholders, something, and then to give him the input later. That way you can reuse the same prompt all the time, okay? If you have an article, this will be a good example. Summarize the key points of article in format. Okay? You're ready to dive into effective prompting. So this is advanced topic. It's a little bit, and like you can see, doesn't know how to spell in images. Yeah, DALL-E is not so good in spelling. Prompt identity, okay? It's counterintuitive because I told you don't think of ChatGPT as human, but it is. When you give him ChatGPT a role, it will play with you in this role. And once you're telling him to be a senior Node.js developer, he will be a senior Node.js developer. That way you will get a better context and better response from the AI. Okay, so by the way, this is a software architect. That's what DALL-E thinks about software architects. Yeah, so you see, he is very knowledgeable. So let's see an example. Okay? I asked yesterday from ChatGPT to generate a function that will validate emails. I directly got a Python function to validate email using regex. But I don't write Python, sorry. So as a senior Node.js developer using TypeScript, and immediately I got package that I didn't know that exists, that's called Validator. And it has the email in doc.js, by the way, JSDoc, and validate the email. So once I gave him a role, he gave me the right answer to my question, and also he gave me the comments and everything that you expect a senior Node.js developer, and it works for everything. A prompt engineer and a presentation writer, everything that you want, act as it will give him some context to work with. Context, very important for prompt engineering, because once you give him the framing, he can know what you are using and how to work with it. So I actually have an example, so I will jump into the example, but let's think about the context. It's helped the AI to adjust the response to the output that you are looking for. So act as developer, generate an agile process, very simple. I went with the act as, I got some answer. But once I gave him some context, I want him to generate an agile process for a big distributed team working on a CRM infrastructure and consider time differences. So I give him context, so now he's taking into consideration the time zone awareness. Because we are not because we are distributed now, the meetings are synchronic. So once you give him context, it can give you something that is much more adjusted for what you are looking for, and it will work much better. Okay. Task and task steps. We want to define to the ChatGPT or the LLM what its task. Okay, just like the instruction, you want to tell him directly your task is, and then he will understand what he is meant to do. And once you give him a task, you can tell him do it by step, and that way you will get a very complete answer to what you are looking for. So I gave an example. So create a checklist for debugging a web application, and I'm telling him what's the steps I want him to take. Start with the front end, then server side, and finally database related. In that way, he will work in those steps, and the answer will be adjusted to what you're looking for. He will start with the front end and then the server side. And unfortunately, I don't have an example for this one, but this is also a way that you can get the steps and reference to everything that you are looking for. Ask me. So how much times you're asking or telling GPT to do something and he will generate it immediately? Like, raise of hands. Yeah, everyone. I don't believe you. Maybe you're going to sleep, but GPT is designed to directly answer any question that you're providing him, or every task that you are giving him, he will answer directly, because that's what he was designed for. But you remember the context? I can ask him to get some more context that is lacking for him. If he will understand that he wants more context, he will ask me, and I will give you an example. Those are two examples that you can go later to see, but let's see. Think on conference presentation ideas, just like we did in the beginning. But now,
so you have next year presentation already?
Yes, already ideas ready. So generate a list of 5 tech talk topics. Ask me questions in order to understand the context and output the best result. And he will not answer for me on the topics. He will ask me, what is the target audience of the tech talk? And I can tell him that we are a tech company that is designed and working in Node.js, and then he will give me more information that is relevant to me, and not only for the whole general audience in the world. So are you presenting to professionals in the tech industry, students, mixed audience? Because I didn't provide the context, now he is asking me to provide some more context, and will not answer directly to my questions. Again, this is something I asked him yesterday, so this is still relevant. Refinement. Okay, so once we got our information, okay, it can be very big information. Sometimes this information will not be relevant, or we will want to focus on something else. So let's see how we are going to refine our answer that we got from the LLM. let's start with filter. Okay, we can get a very big information from ChatGPT, and I will go over everything in a second in an example, but just go on the idea. So we want to filter some idea from the answer, so we can tell him, filter only this part of the idea. Then we can tell him, focus on something, and something that is very important and I use a lot, format it. I can tell him to format it in bullet points, in Markdown format, in Notion, everything that you want. Tell him how to format, how to tell, README, very good for README, Markdown, okay? So let's see an example. So I want to get act as DevOps engineer again, explain about CodeFresh. Why not? Why not? I get a very big information about a lot of things in CodeFresh, and now I want to focus on the GUI and options in CodeFresh, and now I get on dashboard, pipeline builder, pipeline configuration. Right? Focus and filter. Now I want to filter out the code generation. He took out of the answer the code generation, and now I ask him to output the documentation in Notion appropriate way, and I get immediately a Notion example to put in our Notion. Very simple. You can copy it into Notion. It will be just like that. You will get all the headers, everything formatted in the right way. Okay, we are lacking here some GIF, but let's go to the deep, hard stuff. Yeah. So let's talk about some advanced topics that are related to LLM. I'm sure you are capable for it. Zero-shot prompting, okay? Once we are using LLM, zero-shot is something that is called when you give a task to the LLM with no context, okay? It's the first time that you are showing the LLM this task, okay? Translate English to French, cheese. Now, I checked it yesterday, it's working, okay? That's why I'm using the pictures. And this is working because OpenAI gave LLM of the OpenAI LLM, ChatGPT, some context for the few shots. So it's not the first time he's seeing this kind of task, but it might be the first time that you are giving him a task that he never saw. Okay, I didn't have a good idea yesterday, sorry. So this is the zero shot. When you don't have, it's a new task that ChatGPT never saw. So what is few shots? Few shot, one shot is when you're giving an example. When you give ChatGPT an example for what you want to do, it will be easier for him to accomplish the task in the next time. So we give him an example, and then we ask him to do the same task. Few shot is the same thing, but with multiple examples, okay? A good implementation of this one I saw when they use few shot with the generative AI to blank out all the sensitive information from a document. So they show the ChatGPT a lot of how dates are format, how names are format, and then he go through the generation, all the documents, and he blanked out all the information. I didn't find it. I saw it in some lecture. I didn't find this exact example. But if you want him to do a task and he doesn't do it very well, give him an example, and that way you can improve your way of your answers. How with the times? Yeah, never mind. Chain of thought. You remember that I told you that ChatGPT is a computer and doesn't think? Forget about it. Okay, chain of thought. Okay, when you give the ChatGPT something that, let's say this question is, what's the fourth word in the phrase? And then he's not correct, tell him to think about it for a second. Okay, just like you're telling a human. Okay, I give you an example, a riddle, and you can immediately tell me the answer, but I tell you, think about it for a second. and then you will think about it and you will get the right answer. So I will give you an example in a second, but the idea is that once you are telling ChatGPT to think on something, he will provide a better result. Okay, and I will give you numbers in a second. Okay, so 0 shot with nothing, 70% accuracy. Once we tell ChatGPT, okay, let's think, raise the accuracy to 60%. Just telling the ChatGPT to think a second, 60% accuracy, 3 times better. But when you're telling him, let's work this out in step-by-step way to be sure to have the right answer, just this sentence added to your prompt will give you 82% accuracy. Okay, it's 4 times better than clear text. Just simple prompt, you add this one, and I'm not saying you need it every time. You remember, start simple, iterate on your prompt, but this is something that can help you. Just adding this sentence, okay? Tell him to think about it for a second. He is a human. Yeah, I know. Amazing. People took it a little bit further, okay? Real thought. Why just one person? ChatGPT can be more than one person. Let's tell him to have a conversation between 3 experts and get the best answer. 89%, okay? Even better, and I checked it out, okay? Let's see. Bob is in the living room, and I want everyone to tell me what's the answer, okay? Bob is in the living room. He walks to the kitchen carrying a cup. He puts a ball in the cup and carries the cup to the bedroom. He turns the cup upside down, then walks to the garden. He puts the cup down in the garden, then walks to the garage. Where's the ball? Where's the ball? Think about it. The bedroom. The ball is in the cup, which is placed in the garden. That's GPT. Real GPT. No, that's the answer he gave me. That's not correct. The same prompt, I just told him to think about it. Imagine 3 different experts are answering this question. Now is walking through expert 1, 2, 3. Based on this corroborated analysis, the ball is in the bedroom. He got it right. I just told him to think about it, nothing else. Same GPT, same GPT. Copilot, who is using Copilot? Much more hands. Okay, I want you to use it. Copilot is, GitHub Copilot can help you write better code faster. We want to up our game in Optimove. So essentially, GitHub Copilot is a pair programming. You don't need your friend, take GitHub Copilot and just work on your code. I will go through 3 best practices. In the end, everything that I just said for you about LLM, Copilot is an LLM. It's LLM that is in Microsoft. Every time you are writing something, you will get a response from Microsoft and everything like that. So everything is still working. So the best practice for LLM, set the scene. Tell him what you want him to do. Okay, define a clear objective in your prompt, especially when starting with a blank or new code base, to help guide Copilot generate the desired code. And you can see here that I took a blank code and I gave him some instruction in the beginning as a comment, and I told him to generate the test, and he did it, okay? Also, something that maybe you don't know, but ChatGPT is using context from different windows that you are opening. So he will look in the 2 closed windows that are opened in your IDE, and he will take context from them, from there. So keep it open. Small steps. If you don't see that Copilot is understanding what you want to do it step by step. Tell him, give him a comment, generate a code. Give him a comment, generate a code, do it step by step. That way it will understand it better, what you want to do. So sometimes the context in the beginning is not enough for him. So you can see here, I set the scene in the beginning, and then I told him, add the import, constant, test before each, and then arrange, act, assert. Did everything for me. I don't do. And the last thing, okay. So the last thing I want to say to you that test everything. Oh, something is not working. Okay. So the last thing I want to tell you is test everything that you get. Okay, ChatGPT, Copilot, everything that you are telling it, maybe it's not correct. In the beginning, you can see there was an article that Copilot gave a malicious code to the developer, deployed to production, and did the database. So test everything that you get. Okay, don't just take it, copy. The same thing to Stack Overflow. So not new for you. ChatGPT for developers. So wait, okay. So I wanted to summarize everything that I talked about, and I see it's not the latest, but this is some ideas for what to do with Copilot and ChatGPT. 1 second. Tell him what is your clean code and give him to refactor your code. He can do it very easily. Unit test, give him a class, a function, what you want to do, give him, tell him to do a unit test, we'll generate the unit test for you. Test data, okay? Tell him the format and what you expect to have in each variable and property, and he will generate your test data in JSON, markup, whatever you want, HTML, PHP, I don't know. Writing code, obviously, tell him like generate what you want, iterate about it, and you will get the information. Debug errors. You can copy the error that you get, put it in ChatGPT, remove everything that is personalized, don't forget, and it will help you to figure it out. Not always, sometimes it's something in Optimove, obviously. Documentation, okay, README, Notion, everything like that. GPT is doing it like with blinds. Explain the code if you don't understand what the code does. Regular expressions, very good. And my favorite, you know what's the hardest thing in coding? Naming everything. GPT is great in naming. Tell him what you want. It will give you a great name for the class. And this is for advanced, everything that we said. If you have GPT-4, you can build your own GPT builder with ChatGPT and give him here all the instruction that we talked about. Think about step by step, context. If you want, you can create one for Node, for PHP, one for a database, and you can do it for yourself. Summarize, start simple. Instruct using exact, reusable, positive verbs. Provide the task, role, and context. Encourage questions. Refine using filter, focus, and format. Provide example, and take it step by step. Thank you.